Welcome back to Justice Unfolded, where real courtroom stories reveal the harsh truth behind every verdict. Today, we're in Jefferson County, Texas, with Judge Raquel West presiding over one of the most devastating cases of her courtroom, the sentencing of Christopher James, convicted of intoxication, manslaughter with a vehicle. In this tragic case, a man's long battle with addiction led to a fatal night, a motorcycle crash that took an innocent life. The victim, Mr. Addison, a beloved husband, father, and son. The prosecution claims the defendant, high on PCP, ran over Addison twice while trying to flee the scene. But there's more. James insists he was sober, that he merely touched a bottle laced with PCP. As we dive into this hearing, we'll see remorse, denial, and a judge who's heard every excuse before. Stay tuned, because by the end of this case, justice hits hard.
Good morning. Are you Christopher James?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. James was previously in court, entered a plea of guilty to the first-degree felony offense of intoxication manslaughter with a vehicle. I've received the pre-sentence report and also a supplemental memorandum from probation that includes several letters from the victim's family members. Has everyone had an opportunity to review all of that?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
Are there any additions or corrections to that pre-sentence report?
No, Your Honor, I just want to make the court aware, Mrs. Addison, the deceased's wife, would have been here today to do victim impact. She had to go to the hospital yesterday. She's able to tune in, I believe, and watch us. The rest of Mr. Addison's family is here, and his mother is going to want to do victim impact in the sentencing.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nichols. Any witnesses with regard to sentencing?
No additional witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Lewis, you may make argument.
Okay. Judge, of course, this was a very tragic situation that has affected a lot of people. The decedent, Mr. Addison, his family, as well as Mr. James and his family. It was a situation where, this was a combination of a long substance abuse history of Mr. James. The assessment that's provided in the PSI here says that there was about a 20-year relationship between Mr. James and different substances over a period of time. The one thing I can say is that once Mr. James went through this situation with this accident, he has been doing everything he can to try to better himself.
As defense attorney Mr. Lewis begins, the strategy becomes clear. Humanize the defendant. He paints Christopher James as a man trapped in addiction, but now seeking redemption. Lewis highlights certificates, faith-based transformation, even baptism, a common move to show rehabilitation before sentencing. Here's the issue. Remorse and self-improvement, while admirable, don't erase culpability in intoxication, manslaughter. The Texas Penal Code treats such cases as first-degree felonies when prior DWIs or aggravating factors exist, and James has both. Still, Lewis pushes for leniency, arguing his client is ready to rebuild his life. The question is, will that sway a judge who's seen this cycle too many times?
Better himself. He has got his high school diploma. He's was baptized and has definitely changed his ways in going to his faith and continuing in that regard. He's also got some different certifications that he was able to receive dealing with OSHA, I think it was Men's University, things of that nature to try to better himself, Judge. Now, it's no secret he does have a long criminal history that even included dealing with PCP, which is the same substance that was involved in this accident, and as well as other serious offenses. I do want to address something as far as I know there's some situations here dealing with the jail instances, and I know how the court proceeds or looks at the situation here dealing with those. Mr. James, if you look at these situations, majority of them did come from situations involving him and other inmates as far as any type of fight or anything like that, which unfortunately some things he can't avoid. But as far as anything dealing with being disrespectful or anything towards jail employees or things of that.
Listen closely. This is the emotional heart of the defense. James's lawyer emphasizes personal growth, GED, baptism, OSHA certifications, every effort to prove change. He even pledges over $100,000 in restitution to the victim's family. But legal observers will note something subtle. No one disputes the facts of the crash. The plea of guilty stands. The only debate here is how much mercy remains. Defense hopes the court will see a reformed man. Prosecution sees a repeat offender manipulating the system. Would you believe someone with 3 DWIs and prior PCP arrests deserves another chance? Or has mercy run out?
Things of that nature. There's one situation I think that they were talking about that it wasn't an actual write-up, but it was notated. He has been a trustee over there for a period of time at the jail as well. Now, I do want to point out that, of course, some of those situations that Mr. James was able to do to better himself, of course, could definitely increase his earning potential as far as what he has as far as his job situation. He does have significant family support. His brother is here today in the courtroom, who in any way is there to try to help him, including helping secure employment. My understanding is the plan, once he is able to be released, is for him to be moved to Houston, Harris County area, to be close to his brother, to help him with everything over there. Now, PSI did have a recommendation for his different vehicles that support that's available to him through the probation department. What I will say is that everything that has been recommended, he definitely needs and will be better for him. We are not, and ourselves are not asking for a specific number or anything like that. We just want him to be able to, of course, make amends for this situation as much as possible, which could include some of the restitution there. I think the amount is over $100,000 for his restitution there to the family. Now, like I said, he has made a plan to try to better himself. He has a family that supports him. He is doing everything he can. He understands that this was a tragic accident, but one he was definitely responsible for. And what we're asking for as much leniency as possible from the court, for him to be able to move forward with the situation, be able to make amends as much as possible. And I think he did provide a letter to the court as well to kind of speak to that as far as an apology letter that was to the family, his family, the family of the victim, as well as to the court, Judge.
And I've received that.
And so that's what we're asking for today, Judge, is for everything to be considered. We understand this is, you can't bring that person back. He can't just go back to make amends with Mr. Addison, but he wants to try to make as much of amends as he can to society and do better going forward, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Mr. Nichols.
Your Honor, I think any consideration to Mr. James's due was given when he got a 50-year cap. I have no hesitation asking the court to exercise the full 50 years. This case is one of the worst intoxication manslaughters.
Enter Prosecutor Nichols, and the tone shifts instantly. No emotion, just fire. He calls this case one of the worst intoxication manslaughters ever seen. On video, James's car plows into Mr. Addison's motorcycle, and as the victim lies helpless, James runs over him again, trying to escape. That's not a mistake. That's a horror. Nichols tears apart the defense's narrative of redemption, reminding the court that James was on parole for 5 PCP cases when he killed someone. This isn't about forgiveness. He argues it's about protection. He's had every chance, Nichols says. Now it's time for accountability. If you were the judge, could you look past that history?
Manslaughter. It's on video where he plows into Mr. Addison, who's at a stoplight on a motorcycle, and while trying to get away, runs over him and the motorcycle again. It's horrific, Your Honor. What is also just inconceivable to me is that a man who's on parole for several possessions of phencyclidine, PCP, finds himself behind the wheel on PCP again. And this time it ends in the death of somebody. His criminal history is extensive. It starts with minor drug offenses, then a conviction for aggravated robbery, and then I believe it's 5 drug convictions all at the same time in 2020, for which he was quickly paroled out and on parole when this happened. The fact that he gets to make plans in his mind for a day he's set free, I find rather offensive, and I think the Addison family finds offensive. They lost a son, a brother, a husband. There's nothing we can do in this courtroom makes that better. And sometimes the justice system is a poor substitute for what people lost. I think the best we can do at this point is this man spend 50 years in prison where he cannot hurt anybody else due to his own selfish decisions, and continue use of substances. It's in the pre-sentence report. He minimizes his own addiction, his own dependency. He even claimed he did not know how he could have gotten PCP in his system the day this happened, that maybe he touched a bottle and it transferred through his skin, and I find that reprehensible, Your Honor. And that's why I'm asking the court for that full 50 years.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. James, a couple of things that Mr. Nichols didn't say that I think are also extremely important.
When Judge Raquel West speaks, the room falls silent. Her words carry both restraint and wrath. She reminds the defendant this isn't his first DWI, it's his third. Probation didn't work. Rehabilitation failed. Every "I'll do better" promise ended with another tragedy. And then comes the line that chills. Everyone, you think you touched something and got PCP. You've had PCP cases over and over. That's the breaking point. This isn't just a sentencing, it's a reckoning. Judge West isn't angry for herself. She's furious on behalf of every victim who never gets a second chance.
Extremely important is this isn't your first driving while intoxicated. This is your third. And so you didn't learn in 2006. You didn't learn in 2017. 2017, you got your second DWI. You were given probation. It was revoked. I appreciate that you entered a plea of guilty, because for myself and for the family, I'm glad we didn't have to see what it looks like this would look like on a video, because it is just horrible. And the fact that you are truly saying that you think you touched something and got PCP when you have had PCP cases over and over and over again, and you're on parole for possession of a controlled substance and you kill someone. It's a nightmare. Sure, go ahead.
And here it is, the moment of no return. Christopher James interrupts to claim his innocence, saying he was clean and only touched a friend's bottle by accident. But under Texas law, intent doesn't erase intoxication. If the substance is in your system and leads to a death, you are responsible, period. His argument collapses under science and statute. Watching this moment, you feel the tragedy, a man clinging to the illusion of innocence as the judge's patience runs out. Viewers, what do you think? Is he in denial or just trying to believe his own story?
No, that night that accident happened, I've been clean the entire time I was on parole. Okay, I stopped off at a friend's house and give him some advice about what he was doing. And during that time, I did contact a bottle of his. You know, I was not high at that time at all.
It was in your system.
Yes, ma'am. If you know how I fight.
At this time, based on your history, based on the nature of this offense, I'm going
And
to...
there it is. The gavel drops. 50 years in the Texas Department of Corrections. A deadly weapon finding makes parole nearly impossible before decades are served. This verdict reflects a harsh truth. Prior leniency doesn't guarantee future mercy. Judges often weigh public safety higher than rehabilitation in repeat DWI or drug-related deaths. What's powerful here is Judge West's tone, not vengeful, but heartbroken. She admits she's rarely out of words but can't describe the devastation this crime caused. This is justice in its purest, most painful form.
I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of intoxication manslaughter. I'm going to sentence you to a term of 50 years in the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Correction. There will be a deadly weapon finding based on the indictment alleges a deadly weapon. You will receive credit on this sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. I'm going to hand you the trial court certification that shows this was an agreement and I followed it, and so you've waived your right to appeal. I have also handed you a written admonishment regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. Because of the judgment entered against you, you're ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Possession of a firearm or ammunition could lead to charges against you. Firearm is a legal term, and you should read the written admonishment I provided you to see what devices qualify as a firearm. If you have questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or about how long that lasts, you can talk with Mr. Lewis. There's really so many other things I could say about how horrible this is, and rarely am I out of words, but I really don't have the words to say what a tragic circumstances based on your behavior this led to. Y'all can have a seat at council table for the victim impact statement, and we'll go off the record. Do you want me to leave it on for the other family member to hear?
I think that would be
If
a
the
great
family
idea.
member's okay that's given the statement, then I'll leave it
Mrs.
on.
Addison, I mean, yeah.
If she is not comfortable, then I'll turn it off.
I'll ask. Judge asked me, normally we would turn the YouTube off. Do you want us to leave it on so? Okay, thank you. Yes, sure. She asked that we leave it on so Mrs. Monica Addison, your wife, and deceased can watch.
Do you, I don't know that they'll be able to hear her unless y'all move a little closer, but if you're fine where you are, that's fine too. Just, okay.
First, I have to give honor to God, to the judge and everybody in this courtroom. I stand representing my family, Monica's absence, and some of my grandbaby's absence because of college and the one that's here. My daughter, my husband, and my nephew. We have had a tremendous...
Then comes the voice. Every courtroom dreads the victim's mother. Through tears, she relives the night her son died, the call from the hospital, and the 3 years of pain since. Her words cut through every legal argument. You're going to relive the life you took. You'll see hard times. This is why courtroom justice matters. Behind every sentence are families broken, futures erased, and lessons the world must learn.
Thank y'all for being here.
If you found this case as powerful as we did, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more real courtroom breakdowns with honesty, insight, and respect for justice. Because here, justice isn't just heard, it's felt.